I'm Krista.
And I'm Jewel.
And this is Dry Bones Awake.
Today, we're going to be making a chicken bone broth that helps support your hormones.
We're excited because all of the things that go into this foundational bone broth help support the 3 reproductive hormones that we talked about. So we've got estrogen detox in some of our items. We've got progesterone calm in some of our items. And then we have testosterone strength in some of our items.
Let's make it.
Let's go.
Okay, so now we're going to talk about why this is so important for our hormones. So first we're going to talk about estrogen, which is our cruciferous veggies. That would be your cabbage, your lemon, and your turmeric. And we also have some fresh parsley, which helps with liver detox.
Nice. Next, we've got how we will help balance progesterone, which remember is our calming hormone. And so basically from that, we've got our garlic, which will add B6. We have our celery, which will add magnesium. We have our calming herbs, which rosemary would be a part of that. And that will go in there as well. And we also have our zinc, which would be a part of our bones in the chicken.
Okay, next we have our testosterone, which would be our sea salt, the amino acids from our chicken bones, and our rosemary, which helps with metabolic
strength.
Yeah. Thank you.
We love it.
Yeah.
Want to balance that testosterone too.
Yeah.
All right, you ready to put it in?
I am.
Okay,
let's go.
Let's go. All right, so we are ready to assemble our bone broth. And so in our crock pot, we already have a whole, raw, organic chicken. I like to put the chicken in, cook it for about 6 hours, pull the chicken off, and then just leave the bones in for the remaining time, which would be about 18 more hours that it would need to cook after that. At least that's how I do it. It's 12 to 24 hours in totality. But anyway, so we've got the chicken in there and we're ready for the next ingredients. So let's go ahead and throw our carrots in, which we know are high in vitamin A. That supports other hormones that we'll talk about it another time. And then we've got our celery stalks, which we know is part of our progesterone support. We've got our onions, which is also good, adding some yummy flavor. We've got our garlic cloves, which we know are high in B6, which is going to be great again for our progesterone. We've got, we also have our, let's go ahead and throw in our cabbage, our cruciferous, and spread that about. Say what? And we've got our, I'm going to talk to you a little bit while Jewel does that about our apple cider vinegar. So you want to get an apple cider vinegar that has the mother in it. I always choose organic when possible. And it is also in a glass jar. And it's usually just about a tablespoon over the top of the bones or the chicken. It just helps in breaking down the all the good minerals that come from the bones themselves. So just do a little shoot. Yep, perfect. And here's the lid for that. And then we've got our lemon, which is our estrogen support, and our turmeric, which you don't have to peel it. You just cut it up and throw it in. Same with the ginger. You can just kind of break it up and just throw it in like that. We've got our parsley.
Okay, this is when we start to get to shoving, folks.
And our rosemary on top. And I am using an 8-quart crock pot, and we'll end up putting about 5 quarts of water, clean filtered water, in on top. And then once we do have to remember the salt too. So the mineral salt is also great for our testosterone balance. And so we're just gonna sprinkle a little bit of that on top. We like the Baja Gold mineral salt. That's pretty good.
This is very highly recommended in our family.
It is. It's very yummy. But you can use whatever mineral salt that you have on hand. Okay, so in our crock pot, we have all of the things we talked about, plus we have about 4 to 5 quarts of water. And so I'm going to go ahead. I always put on my crock pot, I do it on low for 4 to 6 hours for the chicken if it's raw chicken. And I'll pull out the chicken when it's fully cooked, leave the bones in it and leave everything else in it. And then for the remaining time, so that it cooks in total 24 hours, we will leave the rest of it in there.
Okay, so now we're going to be making a soup recipe for you guys using the bone broth that we just made. Obviously, we just made our bone broth, so it's not ready yet. So we are going to be using our favorite minimally processed bone broth that if you don't have the time to make it from scratch, this is a really good option because it has no bad ingredients and it's in glass, which is always a plus. Okay, so we are going to add 8 cups of this Zoop bone broth, and then we are going to add chicken. You can do shredded chicken, you can do cube chicken, however you prefer your chicken. I like to not boil my chicken in the bone broth if you do, because it can get some like weird pieces in it. So boil the chicken separate, shred it, put it in your soup, and then we have our cruciferous veggies. The more the merrier. We do have, sorry. Sorry, turmeric down.
Yeah.
We have turmeric for inflammation, that helps get rid of inflammation. And then more cruciferous veggies. This is kale. You can also put kale stems in your broth if you want to, but we didn't have kale stems today. But it is really, really good for detox. And then we have some squash. Or zucchini, sorry.
Zucchini squash.
Yeah, zucchini, yeah. And then we have carrots, celery, onions, and more cabbage. So you can kind of leave stuff out if there's certain stuff you don't like. We would recommend putting it all because it's all very, very good for you and it benefits you in different ways.
Right.
And same thing with seasonings. You can kind of season it how you like. We like smoked paprika, salt, pepper, bay leaves. If you have fresh bay leaves, that's even better. Again, the more the merrier. And, hi sweet girl. And yeah, so what I like to do when I start, and I'll put this whole entire recipe in the description and the instructions, but I like to chop up my onion and some fresh garlic, put it in the bottom of the pan with some oil, let the flavors marry a little bit. You can put some of those seasonings on there and yeah, let that all marry. And then you're gonna add these in, add your veggies in until they're fork soft or however you like them. You can also, if you don't want carrots and celery and stuff like that in your broth, like chunk wise, you can boil that in the broth and then blend it up. And then that will just be, the nutrients will be inside of the broth instead of actually having carrots and celery in the broth for all my picky eaters and or picky husbands and or picky kids. And so, yeah, then you're just going to put everything in, chop it up, make sure everything's fork soft, and enjoy. Add what you want and take away what you don't want, and yeah,
Can we show it when it's
and we'll show you guys when it's all put together. Anything to say?
Gigi.
What about me? Here, you can say it in Juju's mic.
I love Gigi.
Okay, so into my pot, I've added olive oil, have heated that up, and then I added in my chopped onions, my grated garlic, and some seasonings, my smoked paprika, my pepper, and my salt. And now I'm just going to let that simmer in the bottom of the pan until the onions turn clear. And then I'm going to add in my broth and all my other ingredients. Okay, so now that we've added our veggies, our bone broth, and our chicken, I also added some bay leaves, some rosemary, and some parsley. I am going to let this simmer and let the veggies get soft. I am also adding a spoonful of this chicken base with bone broth. It's another Zoop product that we love. It's kind of like a chicken bouillon dupe, but yeah, just adds great flavor. And then I know we said we were putting our zucchini and squash in the soup, but we decided to make it off to the side so that our husbands will eat the soup because they are not big zucchini squash guys. So we're sauteing that off to the side with some smoked paprika, some salt and some pepper, and some olive oil. And we will add it to our soup after. I also did want to say with zucchini and squash, it can get soggy if you cook it for too long in the soup. So I would recommend either doing it in noodle form or cooking on the side and adding it in later. Okay, that's all I've got.